Welcome to day 39 of the Savage Cash podcast. Here with me, Supoman, your cryptocurrency podcaster. Now look at what is happening on the market. We have got NXT, which I called out. We have got BitShares, which I called out. Ethereum, which I called out. All are still doing really well. Stratis, which I invested in, doing well. Steam, which I invested in, doing well. Digibyte is on the way up as well. Digibyte actually went down majorly overnight and now it is on the way back up. So what we're going to go through in this particular podcast is we are going to go through a little bit of technical analysis so that we can have a look and see what the potential movement is of a coin. Okay? Because, you know, NXT, BitShares, they're doing so super well. And I called it a week ago, and now look at them. They are rising high. They are thriving. Okay, so what we're going to look at is how do we detect what's going to happen with a coin? And for this, I am going to use this tool here, which is called Coinigy. And Coinigy essentially allows you to analyze coins. Okay, allows you to analyze the movements of coins, analyzes the trends of coins. So there's so much you can do with Coinigy, but what I'm going to show you is just one side of what you can do today. All right, now if we have a look at Poloniex, this morning this was a completely different look. Okay, actually over the course of the last couple of days there has been mostly red covering most of the coins, okay, except for a certain few. NXT and BitShares have remained strong. Stratis has gotten stronger. Steam is kind of up there. Okay, so, you know, we are witnessing the start potentially of a bull market. Now, have you heard of what a bear market is and what a bull market is? Now, if you are, I suppose, experienced in trading at all, whether it's, you know, stock market, forex trading or cryptocurrency trading, a bear market is when the market is going down and essentially the market is losing more value than gaining value. And a bull market is the opposite. A bull market is when the prices are going up and the market is rising in general. Okay, so the way to remember this is how they attack. Okay, so bulls kind of attack like that, if you can imagine. So if you think of the downward motion as the downward pricing, and then if you look at a bull, so a bull, when they're bullfighting, they kind of go like that with their horns, like that. That's bull market going up, okay? Feel I may have made myself look a bit stupid there. Anyway, so let's go back to Coinigy, okay? So what I want to do is just give you some examples of how to potentially spot the movement of a coin. Now, this isn't foolproof. This isn't foolproof because if this was foolproof, then we would always be making money as people who do technical analysis. Okay, we'd always make money. But you don't have to be right all the time. You just have to be right most of the time. Okay, so let me show you this graph here. So essentially what we're looking at is we are looking at the movement of NXT right now. Okay, this is the movement of price over time. This is over 3 days. Okay, and what we've got down here is we've got the moving average of trades on this particular coin. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to let you know of when you can kind of spot a bull market and when you can spot a bear market. Okay, so let me just get this, I suppose, pen and draw it. Okay, so this is what a bear market looks like when you spot the, I suppose, patterns evolving in a moving average. So this is the moving average. So if you can spot an M above the line, that means that the price is about to tank. And if you spot a W below the line, that means that the price is about to rise. So M equals bear and W equals bull. Okay, that's the way to remember it. M equals bear and W equals bull. Okay, so look at what we've got here. So we have got upwards motion, upwards motion. You can see that there's a W here and a W here because you can see, that's badly drawn, hold on, get rid of that. So, there you see it. So you can use this to predict the rise in the movement. Okay, so look, there's the W, bang. Okay, so this is the moving average. Okay, now let's have a look at when this was in the negative. Okay, so we've got right here, we've got an M. Okay, and then from there, it went down. Okay, so you can see that happening. Okay, again, here, above the line, we've got an M. And then all of a sudden, it went down. Okay, and then there was a W right there, and it went up. Okay, now if we translate that back now to Poloniex, we have got a very similar thing down here. Okay, we can't necessarily see it. We've got a very similar... We've got a very similar graph down here. So this is how you can kind of see it on Poloniex without necessarily needing to be on Coinergy. But this gives you an indication of how you can spot what's going to happen with the price. Okay, so you can spot if there's potentially going to be a rise. Now this doesn't happen necessarily all the time. Okay, so let's have a look here. So we've got here a W, actually. That's probably not really a W. The W. Yeah, there's a bit of a W right there. The price goes up. Okay, so no, it does actually show it. What am I talking about? Okay, now here there's an M. Price is going down. Okay, so that was a poor example. Let's now go to Digibyte. So basically what I've shown you there is that the M and W actually works 100% of the time. Now let's have a look at Digibyte and see how it's looking for this. Okay, so here's an M and the price goes up slightly. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily make this foolproof, as you can see. Okay, so the M means it should actually go down from this point. And if we've got the W here coming out of the W, and there is still a slight, it's just quite constant, and then it goes up. Okay, so you can see that the W is indicating the start of an upwards motion. So you can see there that it only really goes up from the point that the W ends. All right, so works. Does that not work? Okay, now there's an M right here. You can see that. And what happens straight after the M? Bang! Goes down. So this pretty much works all the time. Now, somebody asked me about Golem the other day. So let me see if I can... I think this is Golem. So let's have a look and see how Golem is doing. Okay, so Golem, there's a W here, and then the price, there does go up. And then there's a V, it goes up. So there's no M or W here. So in which case, you have to just keep watching how the stock is moving over time. Or how the coin is moving over time. Okay, there's another one right here for Golem. So look, we got a W right there. And then look what happens straight after. It goes right up. So you can see that this pretty much works a lot of the time. And here's an M. Look, there's an M. And then it goes down slightly. Goes down slightly, see? So you can see it rise, down. Okay? So once you see the shape of an M or a W, you know what to do. Let's have a look at another one. Let's have a look at Ethereum, because Ethereum right now is absolutely soaring. Okay, so let's have a look at Ethereum. So we've got here a W. And then it remains constant. And then boom, it goes up. Now this isn't really an M. Because look, it goes up. And then because it goes up like that. And then it doesn't go down. So that doesn't create an M. So it just continues to rise. And then we've got another W here. About to end. So what that says to me is that although the price is kind of slightly wavering here, it's gone up, down, what it's saying to me is that once we hit the top of the W over here, then we're going to see more rise. Okay, that is potentially what we're going to see. Okay, here's another, you can see it, you can spot it right here. Here's an M, and look what happens, dives. Okay, there she goes. So that is a little tutorial on how technical analysis works. Now let's just have a look and see if we can predict what's going to happen with some of these coins right now. Okay, so let's have a look at Steam. Let's have a look at Steam. because obviously I've got a vested interest in Steam. I know a lot of people have a vested interest in Steam. So we might be able to predict what's going to happen with Steam over the next few days. Okay, right. So this is slightly worrying. So we've got a bit of a W here, and then the price rises. And now what we've got is we've got an M. So we've got an M forming. Now, all depends on what happens with this M. So you saw it with Ethereum. The M was starting to form, and then it carried on and created another slope. So if this goes down, then what we may see is we may see Steam going down further. All right, so potentially Steam isn't the best investment right now, potentially. But that is just that's just going on the basis of what the technical analysis is telling me. Do we see any more? There's an M here. You can see that M, and then bang goes down. I think that might be a little W. There's certainly a W here. What happens after the W? Goes up. Okay, so you need to be able to read this. So having something like Coinergy, because I'm not necessarily sure, how visible it is when you look at this. There we are. That's more like it. Okay, so if we look at the 2-day candlestick, there's 2-day zoom, then you can see here. This is where you can see the W and then rises. W rises, okay, for NXT. And now we've got the M. Potentially it's going to go down. All right, so I hope that this has given you some, I suppose, some tools to work with when you are deciding what coin to go with. So you can do that with Poloniex, because they have literally got pretty much the same as Coinergy. All right, so you can see that doing a little bit of trade analysis or technical analysis on a coin, you are able to potentially get in to a coin whilst it's on the upsurge. Okay, so you're getting into the coin at the right time. Because what a lot of people do is they buy here. They buy right here, and then what happens is that the value of the coin tanks, and then people sell here because they think, oh God, it's going to go down, 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 down. And so they sell here. And then what happens is a little W right there. The price rises, but they've already lost it at that point. Okay, so using the W's and M's for the M is for a bear market, the W is for a bull market. And just to reiterate again, a bear market is when a market is on the downward, and a bull market is when the market is on the upward. Okay, so by being able to read these W's and M's, you're able to see what movement the coin is likely to make next. Like I said, this isn't 100% foolproof, but when you're doing cryptocurrency trading, you don't need to be right all the time. You just have to be right most of the time. And as I have shown you in about, I think it was probably about 12 to 15 instances of M's and W's, it's been mostly right. So, I hope this has helped you, and I will see you in the next podcast.